Dear colleague, the case that I present today is the hereditary lymphedema type 1, autosomal dominant disorder with variable expression with variable penetrance. Here you observe a perfect image of the head of a fetus at 25 weeks with a regular nuchal fold. It's a disease linked to dyskinesia of the lymphatic vessels that can be expressed with lymphedema that can be localized to any part of the body and typically prefer the lower limbs. And between the legs prefers the dorsum of the foot. It can be unilateral, bilateral, and may be of interest to all the lower limbs and in some cases affect the upper limbs, especially the dorsum of the hand. Ascites is frequently present, which is not here. Pericardial effusion is present, that is not here. Hydrocele is present, that is not here. Can appear diffuse edema, which is not here. This condition has been described for the first time by Leroy in 1928 and is also called Leroy anomaly. The images you are seeing are useful to understand that there isn't lymphedema in other districts. We observe the limbs to exclude Turner syndrome, Noan syndrome, so you have to make a careful study of all anatomy. We observe that the legs are smooth, and now we observe the main sign edema on the dorsum of the foot. This was the time when it was observed, and then we immediately observed the foot against the side, and these also showed the edema on the dorsum. At this point, we must make a careful study. Genetic counseling must be asked. It's useful to examine the karyotype. Echocardiography is useful. We review the main sign, edema on the dorsum of the foot. After looking very carefully that the lymphedema was localized only here, it was possible to diagnose hereditary lymphedema type 1 or Leroy disease. Look carefully the presence of the edema. What is it? It's a dysgenesis of lymphatic vessels. We must reassure the mother, because the disease is not relevant, a disease that can detect even after birth. Is a disease that can detect even in puberty. It's a disease that can be localized to the dorsum of the foot or distributed to any upper or lower limb and precisely on the dorsum of the hand. In this case, on the dorsum of the hand, lymphedema was not present. So you have to do a counseling extremely optimistic, a detailed examination of the entire fetus, genetic counseling, which should reassure the patient. We may perform the examination of the karyotype, perform echocardiography. Note here the genitals. I told you that the hydrocele may be present, that is not here. Now you'll see the back of the hand is perfect, even the hand against the side. So we can say that it's classic disease Leroy, located only on the foot. Now we have to perform echocardiography. You observe all the heart sections. Must request an ultrasound at 4 weeks to exclude complications such as ascites, pericardial effusion, and generalized edema. Now you observe a section of the heart. Right section. Now you observe a nasal bone. Look at the latest images, and thank you for your attention.